Hello everybody, week 4, and I am going to do my instructional video on language aspects. So what are 3 main aspects of language that serve as a basis for communication? Let's start with what is language and why it is important. So language is a mode of thought or a form of communication, expression, action, and interaction. Why it's important is that this cognitive process is a way in which we find meaning. It helps us act as part of our identity within our culture. It serves as part of our adaptation as human species. So breaking down the 3 main language aspects are structure, which includes form and sound, pragmatics, which is sort of the spoken language or usage, and then the third is semantics, which is the content from which we obtain meaning. Going a little more in depth, I'm going to break down those 3 main aspects, and we're going to start with language structure. So language structure is the way words, phrases, sounds, and sentences are formed in a meaningful way through our communication. I've included this language structure because if you look at the center of this dot, we sort of start our language with sounds, and then as we sort of grow older, we gain greater context in the words and language that we use and are able to articulate. And so basically I narrowed it down to 3 main language structures, which is the formation, or morphology, then the sound, which is kind of the combination of, for example, phonics, and then syntax, which is the rules of language, for instance, grammar. The second is language pragmatics, and this is the usage of words through the context of our interactions. And so it can be heavily influenced by culture and surroundings. I gave, 4 visuals of examples where language pragmatics can change, and that's through different interactions or conversations we have. There's different types of communication, both verbal and nonverbal. I think that's important because when we think of language, we always think of spoken language, but there is nonverbal forms of language as well. Then sort of the adaptive feature in pragmatics is how we're influenced by our surroundings and our culture and our society. And so, I bullet pointed our interactions, our verbal and nonverbal communication, as well as adaptation. And lastly, I'm going to expand on language semantics, the third of the 3 aspects of language, which is sort of the meaning behind language or the content behind the words and phrases and how we form sentences and, develop context. It's sort of the meaning for the language spoken. This comes heavily influenced from our thoughts, our influence, and our comprehension or understanding amongst those words we're able to use and speak. I think one beautiful thing about language is that there can be different rules and different aspects to language, but it is definitely a means to communicate and cognitively express ourselves amongst our species. Thanks for listening. So lastly, I leave with this. Why is language important for you? Thanks for watching.